You're running through the hallway. There's suits of armor on your left and on your right, and suddenly you see him straight down the end of the hallway. The six-fingered man. The man you've been looking for the past 20 years. The man who killed your father. What do you do?
Oh man. I mean, I really would love to take this guy out, but our quest is to take out Prince Humperdinck and rescue Princess Buttercup, so I'm just gonna stay with the party.
Really? You character this entire campaign, anytime you met someone, you asked to see how many fingers they had, and you asked if they have ever seen a six.
Well, yeah, I mean, I want to make sure. I mean, it's an awesome side quest for sure, but I'm a team player. I'm going after Prince Humperdinck.
So 20 years you've been looking for this man. You're gonna let him go.
I'll find him later.
We're going to talk about role playing in combat.
So what's going on, everybody? Jake and Josh from JNJtabletop here, and like we said in the intro, with the strong Princess Bride reference.
I made that up.
Yes, you sure did. Very original. Imagine if Inigo Montoya saw the six-fingered man, and instead of boldly declaring, "You killed my father, prepare to die," he was like, "Nah, bro, I'm good. I'm gonna help out everybody get Prince Humperdinck." There would just be a bit of a disconnect there, and that's why we want to talk about how role-playing in Dungeons and Dragons and other tabletop RPGs really should apply to combat as well. I guess you could sum that up with saying, like, when you're in combat and it's your turn, you should be looking to make decisions that your character would make, not necessarily that you would make. So, I mean, what does that mean to you, Josh?
To me, that means, one, you have an understanding of like what your character is and what they believe and that sort of thing. And the other thing is, like, sometimes people treat like D&D combat like a game of chess, like with just I must have the best strategy possible. And it is fun to play games like that sometimes. Like, you're playing like a really combat heavy game, and that's what you want to do. You just want to tactic the hell out of it. We've done that before, and we've had a blast. If you're playing in that campaign where RP is important, it's helpful if you start thinking about, like, all right, I know in my mind that this is the best thing to do, but my character, well, this is really important to my character. So I might not flank this person. I might go for the big bad instead of flanking the minion, or the opposite. It's not always making the choice that is most tactically sound. It's making the choice that your character would make.
I think that's really good. I just, even last night, in Ancient Relics and Hoki Religions, we were in a situation where we were going up against an ogre and a handful of goblins. I think maybe 5 or 6, I'm not sure. Sure, that ogre might hit the hardest, but I could probably drop a goblin, or if I action surge with, I might be able to drop 2 goblins, which eliminates 2 actions, 2 attacks. So, like, if I'm going like meta or whatever you want to call it, I probably should attack goblins. But in that situation, we were trying to protect the group of tabaxi we were in, so I was kind of feeling like it might be better to just grab attention. And there also was one right there at the foot of the ogre, so I was trying to apply the kind of decision I felt like Vale would make in that situation instead of just doing the right thing or the best thing. It adds a dimension of believability to the game as a whole, if everybody's kind of just on board with that concept.
There's like a new level of tension there too, because you're kind of, in a way, you're going against your nature of being like, I mean, me and you can both get a little like power gamer.
Oh, definitely.
So and if you've ever run a combat, or if you're a veteran of several D&D combats, then like what the best thing is to do. But if you also know, like, no, I know that I could kill 3 of these goblins with my one action, but I need to just dash and run straight in and be the first person there. There's tension in that, and You've seen actually in multiple videos where we've mentioned like use this to add tension to the game. Well, this is something that a player has to do that will also add tension to the game, and that just makes it more real. Like that once when the stakes are actually there, that's what makes the game real. And when the game's real, it's fun and it's memorable.
What kind of tools do you think we have? Like when you're building your character, there's there's a million choices that everybody makes. So, I mean, obviously there's some things like personality traits and whatnot and things. But what kinds of things do you use to help shape what you think a character or the character that you're playing is supposed to do in any given situation?
There's a lot that goes into it, right? And it's everything that you mentioned. It's not just your personality traits and all of that. It goes even to the class or the subclass itself. We'll just say, like, if you're in this situation, right, you're playing a paladin, and you have one of your best friends is down, right? Your best friend in the party. Maybe they've already failed 2 of their death saves. They're 1 away from dying, and you have a cure wounds. But also your nemesis is right there in front of you. And he doesn't even have to be close to dying. He could be right there in front of you. But if you are Paladin of Vengeance, where it's like, we'll just read one of the tenets. I mean, we'll read 2 of them. It's face the greater evil. Faced with a choice of fighting my sworn foes or combating a lesser evil, I choose the greater. Okay, maybe not that one, but by any means necessary. My qualms can't get in the way of exterminating my foes. Well, it sounds like just by the class itself, you are going to be strongly pushed in that direction to fight the dude instead of saving your friend.
Yeah, I mean, and there could be a ton of in-game reasons. Like maybe your friend has saved your butt a bunch of times. Maybe you went down and they were able to heal you, or they were able to protect you when you were weak somehow. Who knows, how whatever situation that could be. And you swore an oath to destroy evil, and doesn't really matter what the cost is. You got to get there, whether that's your own honor or the life of someone else that you're sworn to protect in another way. It's like a lesser priority. And then also, you're just like staring at your friend, 4 feet from you at the table is like, come on, man, pick me up.
Yeah, I think that's one of the big things that goes through a lot of players' minds too, like when they're playing, is like, maybe they don't even need this video for the rest of the things that they're explaining, whereas like, how do you determine what your character would do? Maybe they know what their character would do, but they have their real life friend sitting across the table from them, and they're like, come on, like, you gotta heal me, man, you gotta pick me up, like, whatever. And they're like, God, my character wouldn't do that. There's that like real pressure that is like, all right, I need to do this or they're going to be mad at me. Like, if I do something that my character would do and it puts them in danger, then, they're not going to want to play with me anymore or something like that.
If your own real life flaw is, I cave under peer pressure. So you're just role-playing me now, man. That's just how this goes.
I think it really enhances the game. And I guess this is something that you could talk about in the session 0 too. But if you talk to your friends and you let them know, like, listen, I know that this is what I should do, but based on this, and this is what my character would do. And if you're about to comment I'm just playing my character, this is what my character would do, people try to use that phrase for getting away with like any bad thing. There's nothing wrong with that phrase in general. Just don't be a jerk when you're using it.
Yeah, there's using it to explain an action, and then there's using it to justify an action.
100%.
And you know the difference. Just saying, all you problem players out there, you know the difference. And once in a while, if it's something that's just silly laughs, then yeah, have some fun with it. But there are definitely times where it crosses the line, and it really is more obvious, I think, than players will admit. I like the example that you gave us. Like, you gave us the, your best friend is down. Maybe you even know, like you said, they failed a couple of death saving throws. They're teetering on death's door. Your arch nemesis is standing right there. And you could even approach that from a few different ways. I mean, perhaps your vengeance paladin thinks the only way I have a chance of defeating this enemy is with my friend. I don't know. There could be 100 different ways that you slice that, but the way you have chosen your character to interact with the environment and the world in which that they live in, it just, I don't know, my sense of immersion just grows. Like every time Evbo just takes a moment to just like think aloud as to what Echo's gonna do. I don't know, I'm like more there, and I know like you could look and be like, he's slowing the game down. Like, no, it's making it more real. Like that's, I want more of that in my D&D games.
And there's subtle ways to do this too. Like if you watch the Dragon of Icespire Peak game, like Daisy's biggest concern is keeping her friends safe and standing between them and danger. And if you go back, and you don't even have to watch the whole videos, but if you just go to the combats and just look at where she places herself, she always places herself in between the danger whenever possible.
Oh
That's
yeah,
where she is.
but that makes the game better.
Absolutely. No, I totally agree. And there's moments, if we want to keep talking about that example, there's moments in that game where like she'll run in front and charge and put herself in the danger to protect us. And tactically, that might kind of put us in a worse position than we would have been if we let them come to us and we took advantage of the polearm master thing. But she's playing her character and she's making this decision to, nope, this is what Daisy would do. That's just something that at a certain point we had to factor in and be like, all right, Daisy's probably going to do this because she needs to protect us. So how do we plan for that? And it, especially if you're a player who likes tactics, you should like that even more. Because for Marcus was my character who's like tactics are his thing. Like that's why every decision that he made was a very calculated decision. The presence of like someone who's just gonna run straight in and do something at first was like, you know. But I also love tactics too, so that just added a little thing. It's like you couldn't possibly plan for this. Now you have to figure out how it works too, and it adds to it.
You know, I really think so too. I think in Marcus's situation, he is someone who also considers himself a leader and someone who is supposed to be in command. Maybe command is too strong of a word, but able to plan around. I mean, yes, command as a noble. Usually that's the way it goes. But at least with the relationship he has with Daisy, would be a more of a, I know how to predict the movements of my comrades, and I will use that to our advantage as I see fit. I feel like that would kind of be the way maybe his mind would frame some of those decisions. Another reason why I like this is because now you also leave room for the characters to grow. I mean, how many times in life do you just smack your head against the wall over and over again, being stubborn about something that you probably know you shouldn't be doing, or you know there's a better way, but you're like, I'm strong enough to do this, I'm going to do it. And then there's a moment where you're like, or I could work with my friends because that is the way I will achieve my goals. Like, it just leaves the door open for an amazing story. If you are someone who normally tends to favor combat, big bad fights, all these things, there's nothing wrong with that. But I really would encourage you to, even if you're just dipping your toe in the water here and there, I really would encourage you to try this out a little more in your games and just see what happens.
Just to give a specific example from like, you know, personalities and flaws and stuff, like let's take a flaw, right? Let's say maybe you're a gambler, right? Your problem is that you like to gamble. Realistically, like in our actual lives, people who are gamblers are not usually people who just gamble money. They also take risks and make risky decisions, you know. And that's just how it is. Like if you like that in one aspect, you probably like that in another aspect. So if that's your flaw, you're a gambler, you're probably going to make those crazy choices in combat. Like if you're sitting there stuck between something, you're like, well, I could try to do this, but it might not work. Well, maybe don't even think it might not work. Maybe just think, well, never tell me the odds and just run into it and try to make it happen. And the moments where it works out, it's going to be incredible. The moments where it doesn't work out, it's not going to be incredible, but it's going to be a fun story either way. You're going to be more tied to that combat. It makes those choices with your flaws and personalities and all those things, it makes them more important. if you use them. I think the other side of that paladin example where you fight the big bad when you probably should have saved your friend, well, there's the character who is a healer at heart. There's a character like, say, Melly, who she wants to keep everyone safe. She wants to protect everyone, give them buffs, and heal them. Well, maybe your big bad is either about to die or your big bad is about to like teleport away or something like that. All you have to do is attack it to keep it there. Well, if Melly is faced with the situation where she could stop the big bad from doing something bad, or she could save her friend, she's going to save her friend. Well, from my understanding of the character, she's going to save her friend or try to heal them.
Yeah, I think so.
Even when it doesn't seem like that's the choice that makes sense for like the grand scheme of things. And I think having moments like that and characters like that is great. Again, it just adds to that tension where you're just like, oh, I should do this, but like, no, I'm gonna do that. And then maybe this big bad is gonna teleport away, and you know what? Maybe your players are pissed about that. Maybe the other party members are pissed about that. As a DM, you just gave us 5 more weeks of D&D because the big bad got away, and you gotta figure out how to stop him, and I have to figure out what that means, that because he got away.
I know, and I like to think of it this way, like how many, and I know we said this on Twitter, follow us at JNJtabletop. I know we said this on Twitter, where Evba was talking about incorporating some others, just a little bit more collaborative storytelling. And it's funny because it was, I'm not going to call it a mistake, I'll call it a miscommunication of something that you had asked us to do. And you were like, this is awesome. Like, yeah, I want you to tell me more about what you're seeing around you. Like, this is really working out for us. And in our situation, I feel like there's a lot of healthy trust between every single combination of person at that table. I feel as though you could look at that situation, they're both hypothetical situations where, say, the paladin going after the big bad is not what he should do or she should do, or Melly should attack, instead of heal. But all right, so let's say it doesn't go their way. As Bob Ross would say, you just got happy little accidents. Like there's room for growth. There's another plot twist. There's something else going on that your characters can explore and try and, make into a beautiful story. Like I love the character growth potential between decisions. I mean, in life, everything, it's so easy to look at everything as cut and dry, black and white, like things are right or wrong. And I don't know, maybe it's because I'm getting older, but I feel like the more sometimes some things are just different. It's not better or worse. It's just, this is this path instead of that path, and that's what we took.
Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta take what you got and just eat it,
Yes. If you're not yeet or yeeting, can you be yeet?
No.
Okay. Well, anyways, yeet. Okay. Yeah, we're going again. So whenever you're ready.
I think the other side of here, you were like this, so we'll start again, just so it doesn't start out with you like that.
Yeah, I really think Bob Ross just gets it right. There are no mistakes. There's just happy little accidents.
Yeah, he always also says, there's nothing wrong with having a tree for a friend. Oh, this looks like a good place for my squirrel peepod to live. Let's just put a happy little tree right over there. Ah, yeah, that's nice.
You do know we're talking about role-playing in combat, right?
Remember how free clouds are. They just like to lay around in the sky all day.
Like, comment, and subscribe, please.